The ratings are in for this week's edition of AEW Dynamite, of course, the Grand Slam edition of the show from Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. Saraya reportedly re-signs with All Elite Wrestling. The Young Bucks, AEW World Tag Team Champions and EVPs, have a photo taken with Shane McMahon in the airport following Dynamite Grand Slam. The Viking Raiders are on their way back to WWE television, but reportedly they're set for a name change. NXT superstar Sol Ruka appears on TNA Impact last night as the tag team partner for TNA Knockouts World Champion Jordan Grace. Joe Hendry's Bound for Glory TNA World Championship main event match is confirmed. PCO will face off against Matt Cardona in a double title Monsters Ball match at Bound for Glory. Plus, WWE announces the first ever two-night SummerSlam from MetLife Stadium in New Jersey for next year. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with Dynamite Grand Slam and the ratings for the show. Many people wondering what are the biggest episodes of the year for AEW, how many people were going to tune in. For the fourth consecutive year, All Elite Wrestling returned to Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens, New York for their annual Grand Slam edition of AEW Dynamite on September 25th. It's been a busy few weeks for AEW with both All In and All Out fresh in the memory, and with Dynamite's 5th anniversary, Title Tuesday and Wrestle Dream still to come, how many people tuned in to see the action unfold this past week? Well, according to WrestleNomics, the September 25th episode of Dynamite averaged a total of 702,000 viewers, up 2% from the 687,000 viewers the September 18th episode earned. This is also a 2% increase on the trailing 4 weeks that averaged out at 690,000 viewers, but it is a steep drop from the previous Grand Slam shows, which averaged 1.273 million in 2021, 1.039 million in 2022, and 984,000 in 2023. The key 18-49 demographic also rose for Dynamite Grand Slam, as the show earned a 0.23 number, up 5% from the 0.22 earned the previous week, and up 10% from the 0.21 average of the trailing 4 weeks. A 0.23 puts Dynamite in third place for all primetime cable shows for Wednesday nights, with the Phoenix Mercury / Minnesota Lynx game placing second, and the Indiana Fever Connecticut Sun game that featured Caitlin Clark ranking first, with a 0.55 and 2.537 million viewers, the highest viewership ever for a WNBA game. Dynamite limited its commercials in the two first quarter hours, which we can see courtesy of WrestleNomics here. Shout out to them. I'm sure to subscribe to their Patreon service. As I mentioned, they limited its commercials in these first two quarters, beginning the night with 802,000 viewers and only dropping to 766,000 by the end of Bryan Danielson's match with Nigel McGuinness. That number would dip to 679,000 by quarter hour 4, but bounce back in quarter hour 5 to 708,000 before reaching a low point in Q7 with 615,000. However, Jon Moxley's victory over Darby Allin brought that number back up by the end of the night, with 708,000 viewers watching the 6-minute overrun. Now, Saraya, she's involved in Grand Slam, her match against Jamie Hayter, set to air this weekend on Collision, and it looks like she's going to be sticking around in All Elite Wrestling. Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp has learned that former AEW Women's World Champion Saraya has re-signed with AEW on a 1-year agreement. Saraya had a match against Jamie Hayter at the Collision Grand Slam show, and after, she and AEW have had conversations regarding her future. AEW had an option year on Saraya, but it was implied to Fightful that this could have been a separate agreement from the deal she was originally on. There reportedly was a lot of positivity backstage regarding her match with Hayter that airs on Collision this weekend. Saraya's current contract runs until September of 2025. Now, the Young Bucks tried to break social media yesterday by posting a photo with Shane McMahon. On their way home from AEW Grand Slam in New York, the Young Bucks ran into an interesting name from the pro wrestling industry. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson posted a photo of themselves with Shane McMahon at the airport on Thursday morning, captioning it with, quote, "Interesting flight today." The photo comes amid persisting rumors that McMahon could end up joining AEW. He met with AEW President and CEO Tony Khan this July to discuss possibilities for the future. After that meeting with Khan, McMahon issued a statement saying they discussed many things, but mostly their shared love of the pro wrestling business and the rewards and challenges of working with family. McMahon called it a great meeting. Tony Khan said he, quote, really enjoyed, end quote, talking with McMahon. A chance meeting between McMahon and AEW star Mercedes Moné also happened at LaGuardia Airport in New York City in July. Now, as far as more details on this comes courtesy of Cultaholic, who are reporting that this was just a coincidence. Now, a source who was on the flight, according to Cultaholic, has told them that the Young Bucks and Shane McMahon were both on the 6:29 a.m. Eastern flight from New York City's John F. Kennedy International Airport to Salt Lake City, Utah, which is a popular destination for connecting flights to California. The source further revealed that the Bucks and McMahon were seen speaking and laughing together prior to boarding the plane. Shane was sat in the row directly behind the Young Bucks in first class, although McMahon claimed it was just a coincidence that he and Matthew and Nicholas Jackson were on the same flight. McMahon and the Young Bucks didn't interact much on the flight, with the AEW World Tag Team Champions spending most of the journey sleeping. The flight landed around 9 a.m., and the three individuals ended up waiting back after the plane landed, presumably to take the photo together. Whether McMahon and the Young Bucks being on the same flight was actually a coincidence is unknown, but McMahon's links to AEW continue to persist. Now, WWE are going to be bringing back the Viking Raiders after both have suffered injuries recently back to WWE television. The return of Ivar and Eric of the Viking Raiders was teased on Monday's edition of Raw as a vignette displaying some ruins spout out war. This hinted at a name change when the former Raw and NXT Tag Team Champions resurface on WWE programming, and that will reportedly be the case, with the belief being the team will return to their War Raiders name. That is according to WrestleVotes and Joey Votes on Backstage Pass, who said, quote, WrestleVotes said, quote, yeah, the Viking Raiders have gone over a number of name changes over the years from NXT up to the main roster, with the Viking Experience first and now the Viking Raiders. But now that the person in charge, who was not a big fan of War Raiders, is out of the way, I think you're going to see the return of the name the War Raiders as the tag team of Eric and Ivar, as they are both ready to go and return back to the main roster. Joey then said, quote, yes, we've heard that is the plan as of now. When both these men are healthy and ready to go, which is somewhat soon, I believe they'll be presented again as the War Raiders. Now, as mentioned, they both have been out of action through injury. Both Ivar and Eric are currently sidelined. Eric underwent neck fusion surgery in November 2023, while Ivar received treatment in May for a spinal injury, and he recently had further stem cell treatment in Mexico. Now, the relationship between TNA and WWE/NXT continues. NXT superstar Sol Ruca was the mystery partner for Jordynne Grace on the September 26th episode of TNA Impact. Ruca was introduced by the NXT TNA liaison, Ariana Grace. Ruca and Grace battled Rosemary and Wendy Chu in a tag team bout. It looked like Ruca and Grace were on their way to victory before Tasha Steelz interfered to cause a disqualification. Speaking of TNA, Joe Hendry will be challenging for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at Bound for Glory. Joe Hendry will challenge Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at TNA Bound for Glory on October 26th. Hendry earned his title shot by defeating Frankie Kazarian on the September 26th episode of TNA Impact. It looked like Kazarian had the match won, but he used brass knuckles to knock out Hendry and secure the pinfall. The referee counted to 3, but the decision was reversed by Director of Authority Santina Marella. The match was restarted, and Hendry won with a standing ovation. Therefore, he will get his match against Nemeth in the main event of Bound for Glory. Speaking of which, we're going to have another big title match on the show. PCO and Matt Cardona will meet at TNA Bound for Glory in a match that absolutely favors the French-Canadian Frankenstein. Matt Cardona claims he's always ready. However, he wasn't ready for Santino Marella to announce on the September 26th episode of TNA Impact that he will face PCO in a Monsters Ball match for the TNA Digital Media and International Wrestling Championships at TNA Bound for Glory. The match announcement came after Cardona bullied Steph DeLanda backstage while talking to Santino. Santino said he was sick of Cardona's bullshit and made the match. Now, SummerSlam is coming to MetLife Stadium for not one, but 2 nights in 2022. WWE, with some help from celebrity musician Cardi B, has announced the date and location for next year's SummerSlam almost a year in advance. WWE SummerSlam 2025 is set to take place on Saturday, August 2nd and Sunday, August 3rd, 2025 at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Information for ticket sales will become available at a later date, though WWE is offering pre-sale access to those who sign up at their website. SummerSlam 2025 is set to be the company's first ever 2-night incarnation of its second largest annual premium live event, dubbed the biggest party of the summer. The company's largest WrestleMania became a two-night affair in 2020 amid the COVID-19 pandemic with WrestleMania 36. After several years of that format, WWE announced earlier this year that SummerSlam 2026 will take place over 2 nights live from the US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Last month, Paul Levesque hinted that SummerSlam could be expanding sooner than the previously announced 2026, leading to yesterday's announcement. Quote, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy and the entire NJSEA have been phenomenal partners, hosting several major UFC events in recent years, including the record-breaking UFC 302 in June, said Peter Dropkick, TKO Executive Vice President of Event Development and Operations, in a WWE press release. We're excited to bring WWE back to New Jersey in a major way with the first ever 2-night SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium. Rapper Cardi B made a simultaneous announcement on social media, taking to X to say, quote, here's to the streets and my girl Bianca Belair at SummerSlam, 2 nights, MetLife Stadium, August 2nd and 3rd. Cardi B has long been public about her WWE fandom, and the announcement could indicate that the New York City native intends to involve herself with Bianca Belair in the lead up to next year's SummerSlam. And more details actually of this relationship between WWE and Cardi B have become known thanks to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. WWE, as I mentioned, announced the first ever 2-night SummerSlam for New Jersey in 2025 with the help of Cardi B. However, WWE actually had hopes that she would appear years ago. In the spring of 2021, Fightful Select learned that WWE was hopeful they could use a Cardi B song for SummerSlam of that year and have her make an appearance. When Cardi B announced her pregnancy, that put the possibility of such happening on hold. WWE has also reached out to Mike Tyson and Megan Thee Stallion that year. WWE reportedly is looking to incorporate more mainstream stars into their programming and PLE announcements, Fightful have been told. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.